I did my research like a like someone who's against the vaccine. I googled three things, and now I think those things.
Great.
That's doing your research. No peer reviewed studies for me. So I I mean I feel like they're just not gonna bring anybody in again for like the millionth year in a row, right? Because the ballot is so gross and it's so controversial. So I mean, for me, it's like the A-Rod question always. It's like he's a shit, and like these fans like him because of his scorched earth policy when he was, when he got caught doing steroids in the first place. He was such a little bitch about the entire thing. But like, you can kind of like, as much as like David Ortiz, and we all love David Ortiz, but as much as he embodies the character of baseball a little bit more, like he also popped. Like, I mean, is that the rule? Are we allowed to put people who got popped for steroids in the Hall of Fame or not? Like, what's the deal? I personally don't give a shit. I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah. All right. So I have a wide range of emotions on this topic. Um, so this is the final year that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens will appear on the Hall of Fame ballot.
And Curt Schilling.
Yeah, I don't care about him though.
Okay.
I care about worthwhile Hall of Famers. I think Curt Schilling was a Hall of Fame postseason pitcher, but he was
Also a massive cunt in real life, right? Like, just very, very much like not a nice person.
Yeah. So right, Barry Bonds. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk you through Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, who's also a prick. But again, let's just do this on the merits of getting into the Hall of Fame. So my hot take is that if those two guys are not in Cooperstown, it's not a real Hall of Fame. And I'm going to frame it as this. Everyone believes that Barry Bonds started really juicing, or actually just started juicing after 1998 with the hysteria of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Right. And also because he was tiny and then became enormous.
Yeah, but that transformation happened that offseason, right?
Right. Because of steroids.
Sure. But in August of 1998, Barry Bonds became the only member of the 400 home run, 400 stolen base club.
Okay. I have a point about this, but continue.
That in and of itself is ridiculous. And he saw the fact that in the locker room when people were covering that achievement, he said, and I quote, "I've got 9 writers standing here. McGwire had 200 writers in his face when he hit 30 home runs this year." So he saw the writing on the wall, right? Like that's what was happening. The guy's a 14-time All-Star, 298 hitter. I mean, he had 400 home runs with 4 steroids. And then in the next 10 years, I think he hit another 362, right? To finish off with 762. He's the all-time home run leader. Also, like, let's not forget, he's the all-time walks leader, and it's not close. He has Rickey Henderson by like 400 walks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I can pause before I go to Roger Clemens.
I'm like, whatever happened to like the asterisk argument? Like, is that not a thing we're doing? Like, can't you? I agree with you. Those numbers completely justify pre giant necked Barry Bonds. The numbers justify him being in the Hall of Fame. And I also agree with you that like it's very difficult to explain if you were like explaining baseball to somebody that knew nothing about it. It's very difficult to go, so this guy with all these stats, that's number one in all these categories, probably the most important scoring categories. Like walks and home runs and like hits. I'm sure he's pretty high in hits too. It's hard to explain why that person's not in the Hall of Fame. And I do think it sort of discredits it. Can't you just be like, okay, we're inducting Barry Bonds up until 1998 into the Hall of Fame, but like somehow clarify that the remaining Barry Bonds juicing part doesn't count?
Sure. Yeah. I'm
like, just read when you're like, here he is, Barry Bonds, 400 home runs. Like, read off his stats like up until he clearly started putting anabolic steroids in his pooper.
So 400 home runs, 400 stolen bases. The only member of that club at that point in time, and he was an 8-time All-Star, 8-time MVP at that point. All right, and I was right the first.
But it's broke. But it's broken. But it's a broken system, though.
Sure.
What I said at the start, because they basically they go, okay, sorry, we didn't induct enough people from or anyone from the Negro League. We're gonna make up for that. Great. Now we're done putting people in the Hall of Fame, and that now they've sort of backed themselves into this corner that you're describing, where there's a bunch of guys on the ballot, most notably, like we're talking about Barry Bonds, where it's like, well, you're going to run out of time to put them in. And then you're going to, and if you're the Baseball Hall of Fame, now, obviously the Baseball Hall of Fame being a strange separate entity from baseball is a factor here. Like, it's kind of different in Canton. It's sort of like one entity, but the PR for them has always been a little bit different. It's been about the prestige and the character of baseball, and they don't want to get they don't want to get their Hall of Fame sullied by steroid users being in there. But what you're saying, which I think is a good point, is your Hall of Fame's fucked if Barry Bonds isn't in there. You know what I mean?
If you're gonna leave them out on the character and whatever clause it is, then you should remove every known vocal racist from the Hall of Fame too, regardless of when they played. Right, because you can't judge character based on the fact that they wanted to
integrity / character / sportsmanship clause.
Yes, that they so in reality, I'll move on to Clemens. Right, so he was suspected of roids in 2004. Perfect. Pre 2004, Roger Clemens was 310 wins, 160 losses with a 3.15 ERA. That is a Hall of Fame career. There just isn't. I don't understand how, and the writers that have ballots in their hands are often the ones that say, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he used steroids, so put him in.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm confused. What happened to this whole? I remember this whole asterisk conversation going on for so long, and I don't understand. Can't we just?
Well.
So can't we just compromise? Isn't it in the best interest of the Baseball Hall of Fame to compromise here?
Yeah. So his bat, the bat that he used to hit the all-time leading home run record, that's in the Hall of Fame with a little asterisk next to it. All of the stuff, all of their memorabilia is in there, but they're not in there. They're not enshrined in that hall. Which you don't even have to be a huge baseball fan. If you ever have the chance to go to Cooperstown to see it, it's pretty cool. Right. When you walk in there, you just know this is something awesome. But I think what really upsets me the most, and leave it, we have a Renaissance Patriots team going on right now, right? Which we'll talk about, I'm sure. And I'm over here pissing and moaning about two Hall of Famers that aren't going to get in. Joe Torre and Tony La Russa are in. Tony La Russa built, literally the road to the Hall of Fame for Tony La Russa was paved by Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco, two Reuters, two people that helped him win a World Series in Oakland. He then followed Mark McGwire to St. Louis, right? Albert Pujols, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. I really don't care. Scott Rowland probably did it too. He won the World Series.
But this is my point. This is my point of how I originally started off, because you have guys like Ortiz and A-Rod who are first-year ballot guys now, right? I think it's both of their first year this year. And it's or eligibility-wise, and it's we're just going to continue down this path of this same conversation over and over and over again, because it's the first thing I think of is oh, well, the whole A-Rod thing. And I'm realizing, you bring up Schilling and Bonds and stuff. And it's oh shit. Yeah. We've been having this conversation for a number of years,
10 years.
And we're going to go through the same thing over and over again. And it's it's just going to be criminal every single time, because to me, so say oh, David Ortiz, where it's the last year of that eligibility for David Ortiz, zoom ahead. We're having the same fucking conversation. They haven't decided on the criteria, basically. Still, the whole Baseball Hall of Fame has lost its credibility at this point, because you can make the argument, David Ortiz hangs out with drug dealers in the Dominican Republic. It's okay, I don't know, dude. Why does that matter? What is this? I don't understand this old British royal family polo playing at. It's just chalk it up to an era, dude. It is what it is. That's what everyone else is doing. Everyone else has kind of moved on. And also, the elephant in the room. That was the funnest time to watch baseball ever. So it's sorry.
You want to the real elephant in the room, DK? Bud Selig is in. The commissioner of the league, when all of this was happening, is in.
Right.
So I love David Ortiz.
That right there is just that's right. You're condoning it.
Yeah, right. So I love David Ortiz. I love everything he did for the city of Boston. He was a DH. He didn't really play first base when he was prominent. So all he had to do was hit. And sure, he probably took PEDs, but he's going to get in because he's a media darling. Barry Bonds was an asshole.
That's the biggest. That's the difference, though, right? Like if you take these two first year guys, A-Rod and Ortiz, and it's like again, it comes back to the credibility of the Baseball Hall of Fame here because A-Rod did everything he could to talk his way out of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Basically, when he got popped and he got fined, he still isn't like, sorry, I did steroids. He's like, that whole thing that happened really cost me a lot of money and like reputation. It's like that whole thing that happened. Like when they asked Ortiz about it, he just Bill Clintoned it. He was like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, could have happened. Maybe it didn't happen. Could you just sort of like wait until people lose interest and then you're fine. Nobody thinks you're an asshole. If you kick up a fuss like A-Rod did, different story. So it's like, what's the criteria there? Because they essentially got caught for the same thing around the same time in the same list of people that got popped, right? Like in that initial thing. Was A-Rod a higher profile guy because he was a Yankee? Yeah, sure. You can like take all that stuff into account. But based on how they handled it, that should that like as much as I'm like, fuck A-Rod, put Ortiz in, that shouldn't affect it. That shouldn't affect it. Like you should keep it. You got to keep the requirements consistent, you know? So already you're just like snowballing with these things. It's like, dude, if you want to say it was during the attitude era of baseball, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Like, you know, it's how many articles have you read just to like do a quick analogy? How many articles have you read that are just like snooze fests that are like the attitude era and why it was so problematic? And it's like, yeah, but like, that's why it was also fun. Can't we just, I know it's different and I know it's not wrestling, but it's like, can't we just chalk it up to an era and just move on, guys? Like, obviously they were going to be the best players in the MLB regardless.
Yeah.
Like those were still going to be the best guys of that era, regardless of like whether they juiced or not. With Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, I don't know. That's up for debate. And also Sammy Sosa has that other stuff, like the bat stuff. And I think that that should affect him.
They weren't Hall of Fame players. Barry Bonds is a 7-time gold glove.
Totally. No, I'm with you.
He holds the record for the most consecutive seasons with over 30 home runs. And just to let you know, that started in 1992 and it went all the way until 2004. And so literally before he was using until after he was using.
He was a hell of a base runner too before he put 900 pounds of muscle.
His stolen bases did noticeably drop off. He went from 37 to 28 just 1 year.
That's a little more ass to be lugging around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think you lose people. And now you just accept the fact that that steroids in baseball happened. Everyone did them. Yeah. The ones that didn't and excelled, great. Awesome. Yeah. You're that much better because everyone else was juicing. But 1998, that home run chase between McGwire and Sosa saved the league.
Yeah.
And you're punishing people for doing the things that brought the league back to the forefront of American sports.
Yeah, you can kind of boil it down to one question if you're looking at it from, if you and I are sitting in a room, when they should put us in these rooms, because I really feel like we brain trust this stuff out.
Yeah.
But if you and I are sitting in a room with the commission to like put people in or out of the Hall of Fame, and you're thinking about a big picture, it comes down to one question. What ruins the credibility of your organization? Your organization being the Baseball Hall of Fame, not the MLB, but your organization being the Baseball Hall of Fame. What hurts the credibility of that more? Putting a guy who did steroids in there, or not putting a guy with those numbers in there? And I think we're in agreement that the latter is a much more harmful thing to do to baseball, to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and like to the legacy of the sport. Because honestly, nobody really gives a shit. Nobody really gives a shit at this point. And the ones who did, there was a lot of phony outrage in that era too, if you remember, because there was like, it was pretty early that a lot of like actual sports fans were like, I don't know, dude, let them juice.
Right,
because I can understand because they might kill each other. I get that,
but like for Boston fans that are our age, right? Knowing that everyone was juiced in that All-Star game and watching Pedro strike out Bonds, Sosa, and McGwire back to back to back, that made you feel that much prouder of Pedro.
Right.
Maybe he did it, maybe he didn't, but everyone knew what the score was. Everyone knew that people were taking steroids. So much so that
they look like cartoon characters. It wasn't a secret.
I mean, the commissioner went out of his way to avoid it until the San Francisco Chronicle broke that story about Balco back in like 2003, and then all of a sudden it was 7% of the league tested positive for steroids.
Yeah,
That's really not that much.
I would also make the argument. I don't think this is a murky argument, and it could be picked apart. But I just thought of it. I'm just going to say it out loud. I don't know how fair it is to punish a specific player for participating in a rampant culture inside their sport just because they excelled. It's not as if there weren't shitty players doing steroids. You know what I mean? Like they were still
Jeff
good.
Bagwell, Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Bagwell is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta, if you're going to really even it out, if you're really going to do it, take all the white guys out that were playing with before the Negro League got it. Just take them out because obviously they were, let's be honest. If we're doing real deep dive on the Baseball Hall of Fame, like those guys deserve to be in there less than Barry Bonds does.
Well, I'm saying, so baseball banned steroids in 1991, didn't test until 1993 or just until 2003.
Yeah, well, I mean, at what point are they responsible for the culture? You know what I mean? Like our commissioners and the people
right there,
people that own the teams. At what point are they responsible? Because they didn't start acting responsible for 2 years after they made the rule.
No, 12 years. 1991 is when they banned it, and then they started testing in 2003. So it was like, hey, don't do this, but we're not going to check.
Well, right, because it's not even like the thing is they were fine with it. It was like Congress got mad and like Katie Couric did an interview with like fucking A-Rod, and it was just like people, hey, no fair. It's like teacher, they're doing steroids. It's like we all probably would have been cool with it. They're fucking doing some full home run derby that happened in one season between two guys. It was amazing.
Also, just my last thing on Bonds, and I didn't know I was this much of a Barry Bonds advocate until recently. The last year of his career was, I think, like 2007, right? The man hit 28 home runs at like 42 years old and wasn't picked up because that was the year that he broke the record. San Francisco couldn't cash it on him anymore, so they just released him, and then no one touched him. I mean, like it is absolutely ridiculous to not have those two guys. And you can say what you want about them personally. I think Roger Clemens is a prick, right? But as a baseball player, as a pitcher, he's one of the best. He's the best pitcher of our era, of our lifetime, and one of the best in the history of baseball. And he should be there.
Yeah, that's true. And also, there's guys lower down on these ballot votes that are getting punished because of this exact debate. Like Scott Rowland should be in the Hall of Fame, and he was like, by all accounts, a nice guy, and he finished like 5th in the voting last time they voted, and it was like, we're not putting anybody in, whatever. And it's like guys like that are getting punished because of this debate. It's like those are guys that are a credit to the sport, so just put them in there. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Also, for the BBWAA writers that have a ballot and turn in one that's not filled out, if you send back an empty ballot, I firmly believe that you should relinquish all of your rights to ever cast a ballot in the future.
Yeah, if you don't want to vote, don't vote ever. Yeah, it's I think there's a lot of cowardice going on. I don't think they want to reignite this debate too hotly, but I honestly think it's just like bite the bullet, put those guys in, and try to regulate to the point where you don't have an error like that repeat itself, because you have all these, you do genuine, as much as I say nobody really gave a shit, you do genuinely have actual consequences to your sport later on down the line. And I just think it's a bummer, but let's see what happens. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
Probably not.
Maybe trying to be an optimist. Should we move on to the National Football League? Do you want to talk about your resurgent New England Patriots?
Yeah,
they're so fun to watch, Mike. Oh my God, it's like that's entertainment, baby. Wow, greatest show on turf. The New England Patriots are here to win a game 1 yard at a time.
I mean, but they just look this. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. It just feels like the path is opening up for them. Like this feels like your typical like 2010, 2011 team. Obviously, like when you don't.
They remind me of the 2001, 2002 team. To be quite honest with you, I mean, maybe I'm doing like
don't do that. No,
Brady stuff, but it's like that is how he ran the offense that back then. It was all like Corey Dillon and like short little like pop throws over the middle, and like the skill players were kind of a little bit more spread out across the field, and it was like just like a well-run special teams and like a well-run bend don't break defense. And also your defense has elite players on it. Again, parallel back to like 0102. You had elite players that maybe not necessarily are like household names, but there's enough elite players where you have an overall really good defense. You really don't see the comparison?
Well, okay.
So, but I'm not saying you're going to go on another 20.
Yeah.
So Bill Belichick has to die at some point, especially with this many people wishing for it to happen. But like, but like, I'm just saying, just on paper is how they run their team. It seems similar.
When I said that, like when I say like I think that this feels like a 2010 2011 team just because of the way that the path is clearing up. I mean, the rest of the league is just so stupid.
Everyone else sucks.
Yeah, but just think about it. Like Derrick Henry out. We can beat Ryan Tannehill. We've always been able to beat just Ryan Tannehill. The Falcons game would have been a trap game had you had Calvin Ridley, Cordell Patterson. They're all gone. Baker Mayfield out. Beckham, he was shipped out. Like everything is falling into place for the Patriots just to literally, win 11 games.
Yeah.
Even this week again, going up against the Bills, that's a huge game.
I mean, let's look forward to what your playoff picture looks like. Who were you afraid of in the AFC? Are you afraid of Buffalo at this point?
No. So do I think Buffalo is a better team than us? Like, do they have more talent? Yes.
Yeah, but they're not putting it together this year.
Yeah. And also, like, they just lost their number one corner to like a knee injury for the rest of the year. Again, it's just the path opening up. The
Patriots, this organization is the exact kind of organization that sees that and will take advantage of it. And Bill Belichick is the guy that could take advantage of it. And the more you talk and the more I think about it, the more sad I get.
So, teams that I'm afraid of in the AFC,
the Ravens, you're not afraid of.
No, because we beat Lamar last year.
The Chiefs?
Yeah. Yes, because as bad as that defense was for the first 8 weeks, they've gotten a little bit better. And Mac can't get into a pissing contest with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes is like low-key ass this year, though. Don't you think? Like, he's just not doing that like Patrick Mahomes thing.
I mean, they've won like 5 straight.
Yeah, well, it just doesn't quite look like the same thing that he was doing last year. Like I don't even really blame him for the Super Bowl. I feel like there was a lot of drops. I feel like people weren't really doing him a lot of favors. I just feel like he's just been a little off. Like, and I think it all comes from him. Like, whatever's been going on with them, it comes from him.
He also had to run 180 yards behind the line of scrimmage just to throw a ball. Like, he had no offensive line.
It's terrible.
But, yeah, the AFC, it's the Chiefs, and then it's really it. I mean, I fear John Harbaugh. I don't fear Lamar Jackson.
Fear him like coming into your house.
Yeah, he's beat us.
No, I mean, like, I'm saying, do you fear him like he's under your bed at night?
No. He's like it seems like a pretty sweet dude, but he has no problem coming into Foxborough and beating us in the playoffs. He did it with Brady. So like he doesn't.
But that team though, like it's just like Lamar is not that guy.
Is he better than Joe Flacco? I think so.
I think there's nuance to that question because it's like Joe Flacco had like an unbelievable playoffs that year. Like overall, is he like more talented, more athletic? Yeah, but like you have to remember that like as much as it was kind of like it was kind of fake and we all knew that he wasn't that good and he didn't deserve the contract he got. He did have a crazy good playoffs that year. Like he was playing really, really well. It's not like he played bad and they won. Nope, they're playing well right now.
They beat us in 2009 in the wild card round. They beat us. They should have beat us in 2011 if Lee Evans just catches that touchdown, or if Billy Cundiff doesn't miss a 28-yard field goal, and then they beat us in 2012. So
they're not missing field goals these days. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So my point is that I don't think that team or that organization fears us. So yeah, I think they're the only scary team left.
You can manage the thing is you could manage your way through a playoffs. You know what I mean? It's like one of those, like, I know it's a cliche, but it's like take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
Play who's put in front of you, scheme for them. Like, I just feel like it's like there was a point leading up to last year's Super Bowl where the Kansas City Chiefs seemed invincible. Like they seemed like gods. There was just nothing you could do. Nobody seems like that right now. So that means everybody's got a shot. And I think in years, and I mean this in all sports, in years where everyone looks a little shitty, it's always the smartest team that wins. It's always the team that just like game plans really well and like just manages their way through each game. Now, by the time you get to the Super Bowl, I think anything can happen. Like it could be like, so say for example, the Patriots, even though they had a tough start, I always said it's about who enters the playoffs hot too. You know, it's like they're entering the playoffs. If they keep this up for the next few weeks, they're entering the playoffs on a heater, which is like a huge momentum thing. When you get to the Super Bowl, there's a murderer's row of teams that you could possibly meet. It's like, oh, the Patriots did really good. They played I don't know how the standings are, but it's like they played the Ravens in the AFC Championship game and they won by like the last minute field goal and they're like on a heater. Enter the fucking Arizona Cardinals. Game plan for them, Bill Belichick. Like, I dare you. You know, like as good of a coach as he is, like I don't even think they know what they're going to do when they go out there, but they seem to be able to put it together because they're just like pure talent. You know, it's like I if I were you guys, I wouldn't want to see them. Like the Packers seem to be able to just get it done. I'm not really sure. You're not scared of them?
No, only because of their
you still don't. Rodgers is the guy.
Yeah, sure. Aaron Rodgers is 1-0 in Super Bowls. It's great. He's terrible in the playoffs. I mean, he just chokes. He always does. He always does. It isn't like that's not a prediction. It's just history. You know what I mean? So at this point in the NFC, here would be the teams that I would really fear.
Tampa.
So yes,
Daddy.
Tampa. Well, kinda. It looked like the moment was a little bit too big for him when he came back to Foxborough.
What moment has ever been too big for Tom fucking Brady? That's ridiculous. That man has been to more Super Bowls than I've like taken leaks in my toilet. It's like absolutely ludicrous. Like that guy's fucking. He's made for the moment.
I don't like the position that I just put myself in to argue that there has been a moment that's too big for Tom Brady. But Tom Brady did say that the 2001 AFC Championship game against the Steelers, that moment was too big for him, and he was not glad that he got injured, but he was glad that he did.
He was like fucking 11 years old, and that was before he like started drinking baby's blood and doing all that weird shit that he does to like be Tom Brady. Yeah, it doesn't count. He's like, they're like, hey Tom, like that's like an interview question. It's like, what would you say your biggest weaknesses are? Sometimes I care too much. It's just like, hey Tom, when was the moment too big for you? When I was a fucking child in NFL terms, like.
Been a long time.
Show weakness like that. I think he came back into. I don't think it's any mental thing. I think he came back into Foxborough. I think he got game planned, and I think obviously Bill Belichick is a very good coach. I think he knows Tom Brady's tendencies better than anyone else on the planet, and I think that he's a very creative coach, and he does things that are like very unexpected. Even his players, it's difficult for them to predict. So I don't think Brady could do back to him what he was doing to Tom. But I also think if they played again tomorrow, I think the Buccaneers' chances to win goes up like 50 times over because Brady got to look at you.
And, you know, to Craig's point, if Gronk's there, like that's a thing. Like,
we're still having that conversation. What a ludicrous time to be alive. It's like, what am I, fucking 23 again? Yeah, man, it's just about if Gronk's healthy. Like, I don't know. It's fucking, it's crazy.
The Rams, they scare me.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on, bro. Get out of here with that. We just had that conversation.
No, not because of Stafford. Not because of Stafford, though, but because of that defense. Our offense, the Patriots' offensive line isn't great, and they can, LA can create an immense amount of opportunity for pass rush.
I think your defense fucking absolutely tonks those guys. I think that offense is like, it's all fucked up. I don't think it's OBJ's fault that they haven't won in 3 games, but I think it's, do you remember, I forget who they played like right after he got traded there, and he like basically had been there for like 12 hours and he started running routes, and it was like clear that they just like, weren't hooking up, and it was like, okay, cool. Like, well, it's all right. We'll like, you know, we'll review the playbook and we'll do some game tape. And he actually had a better game last weekend. The problem is there is a little bit of an unbalancing of humors there now, I think. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, you have a nice balance. You know, you can go to Cooper Kupp, and I know the injuries aside, but it's like you can go to Cooper Kupp, you can go over here, you can do that, you can give it to Henderson, like hand it off to Henderson Jr. a couple times, whatever. Now it's like there's the OBJ factor. You know, it's like, all right, we got to try and get him the fucking ball because he needs usage. You know what I mean? He's just one of those players. I don't know, man. That's the exact kind of thing Bill Belichick is like licking his fucking lips for. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, let's force the ball to Odell Beckham. Let's make him beat us. Like, let's make it weird. You know, like let's chop him up at the line. Like, yeah, fuck it. We'll eat a couple of short yardage pass interference calls just to like ring his bell a couple of times. Like that's the kind of stuff that Bill Belichick eats up. So right. I don't know. I wouldn't be scared of them if I were you guys.
So
With how you're playing right now, with how you're playing right
yeah, there's one team. It's the Bucks. I'm not scared of the Cardinals because I think you get into a situation like that, and it's not because of Kyler. I think he's doing amazing. Hopkins always kills us. That's fine.
kills everybody.
He kills everybody. So if Bill takes away Hopkins, Bill also does really well against mobile quarterbacks, right? Because he doesn't rush them. He just puts two spies on the edges and makes them become pocket passers. And I think we would get into a situation where Kingsbury would try to outthink or outcoach Bill. So
Yeah.
it's really the Bucks, and it's
And it's the Bucks. It's the Bucks because I mean, this is obviously a pretty insane hypothetical. We're calling two teams to go to the Super Bowl here, but it's the Bucks.
By the way, that is a wet dream of mine. Bill versus Tom.
Sure. I mean, honestly, it'd be great for the league. It'd be great for our show. It'd be really awesome. I would like, let's entertain the hypothetical for a second. I have to say, I would favor Brady not because of the personnel that he has, which is obviously superior. Like, in Tampa Bay, I would favor him. I'm going to say if that happens, I'm going to get on this show and I'm going to say something going into that week. Like, sucks that you guys played him in the season. Sucks for you guys that you played him in the season because like, I don't, it's like you could take him to a Super Bowl and beat him how you beat him in the regular season this year. Like I could see this. You're not going to be able to do that to him twice.
I know.
He's Tom Brady. I'm sorry. It's not like but honestly, what a great chat we're going to have because if Bill Belichick can come up with another way to beat him and beat him 2 times in the season, that's it. It's decided. Bill was the guy,
We lost.
No, I know. But I mean, it's a moral victory. The moral victory.
I love the way
Doesn't it seem like a win? Doesn't it seem?
Yes, I know.
Like a win? Like you guys came away with so many, like to the point where I'm like the moral victory that you came away with in that regular season game, I think was enormous. It kicks out the whole rest of your season. Look where you are now because of how you guys played in that game.
Yep.
And like, I honestly just, I don't know if he gets another look at you, it's going to be weird. But you did fuck him up. Like you made him play bad. Like, yes, they still won, but you made him play bad. That's a victory. That was a W for Bill. In the Bill, it might not have been a W for the Patriots, but in the Bill versus Tom debate, it was a W for Bill, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I don't want to throw shade at Bobby, but
yeah, you do.
Not really. Like the Cowboys are a much superior athletic team, right? Like they have more talent. But if we get a chance to play them again, I think Bill now knows what to do because I think we saw
also a better time to play him now because I think mentally they just have sort of collapsed it on themselves.
But I mean, if they make it to the Super Bowl, then they're
gonna happen. I'm sorry about it. That's not gonna fucking happen. We can't spend any time talking about a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl appearance right now. I'm sorry, that ship has sailed.
Can I ask you a question? I actually have 2 questions.
Yeah.
First question: Monday night's game, Patriots and Bills. Like as an outsider, right? Who do you like in that game?
Right now, I like the Patriots if they play anybody, and I just think it's like for me, it's like I'm always very cautious about jumping on the bandwagon of like they're finally done because I've just seen it so many times. Like it's the touching the fucking pellet in the maze. It shocks you every single time. So like, why bite? Why bite? And it's like I could see it. I could see the writing on the wall when Bobby was like doing a victory lap about the Dallas Cowboys being better than the Patriots now. And it's like it's just like don't do the victory lap until they ship out the rings, dude. You know what I mean? It's like that. This season especially, but this sport is a fickle bitch. And the most consistent thing in my life for the past 20 years has been not counting out the New England Patriots. As much as I'd love to, like as long as that filthy old fucking warlock runs your organization, he's going to be able to win football games. It's just the way it is. Also, as much as I was like pro Bills last year, that was mainly because you made fun of me for drafting Josh Allen. Then he had a great fantasy season. Now I could give a shit about them. And like really from a neutral perspective, now that I don't have like a horse in that race, I don't really trust them. And like, yeah, they have like skilled players. They have serious injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Like you made that point earlier. And like Josh Allen, like, I don't know. Is he that dude? I'm not sure he's that dude.
He could just be a better Jake, I was going to say Jake Plummer, but I really meant to say Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? Like he could be better. I mean, he's
a lot more dynamic than Jay Cutler ever was.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of a prerequisite these days in today's NFL.
Yeah.
That's a damning indictment, Mike, because Jay Cutler was a real piece of shit.
But
I've never seen anybody who wanted to win less than that guy. So
he had a few playoff runs, right?
Yeah.
Great arm strength.
Easy.
I mean, the thing about Josh Allen, so like, on this show, I always talk about how Lamar Jackson in the playoff game, when the things get really tight, he can't hit the windows.
Right.
The same can be said about Josh Allen. His decreases, his accuracy decreases in the playoffs, and you can't do that.
But the difference between those two,
it's
seeing that like the deep ball is a thing that Josh Allen can do, and it will forever elude Lamar Jackson because you can't teach that. You can either throw it far or you can't.
Right.
So, and it's just weird how that Ravens offense is set up to like they're on a tightrope. It's like they play on a tightrope, and you have to play like that with Lamar Jackson. And I'm just not sure that like a player that dynamic but not malleable is like ever really going to work. I think you could get Josh Allen to figure it out if you put the right people around him. And like, I think you could basically what you're saying is you don't trust him. You don't trust his mental. Like you think like if you're going into Madden and you went to like the stats and you 99'd everything, his mental would be like 33. You're saying it's just like, he just doesn't have the goods.
So like, I think I always hate like bringing it back to Brady because that's such a New England thing to do. But like even like a Peyton Manning type of thing, Peyton and Tom.
I mean, it's not a fucking Idaho sports podcast, Mike.
But like
okay,
they won games with their mind, and they had the strength to do it. Josh Allen strikes me as a guy who wants to win with his arm and doesn't think before he throws. If that makes sense,
he's got a little bit of a Brett Favre about him.
Yeah,
in that sense.
Oh yeah.
And
my second question.
Yeah, I like the Pats though. If I was putting money on it, I'd be putting money on the Pats in that game.
Why does Matt Nagy still have a job?
Dude, I don't know. I didn't know we were going to talk about this. That's so pathetic. It's like, it's weird, right? Because like, obviously I'm out on Nagy. And I think the reason why, like on a completely not, I hate seeing my football team lose games thing and like the play calling's frustrating, all that stuff. He's just not the guy to turn Justin Fields into the guy I know Justin Fields can be.
Yep.
And that's just super obvious. And it's super obvious to anyone who's watching. And it's like, yeah, like he's not a complete nincompoop. Like, I think he's got like big flaws as a coach. I think he's got things that he's good at, things that he's not good at. It's not like completely black and white, completely cut and dry. But it became at its most obvious point. I think we all knew this. Anyone that like listens to me talk and like on this fucking podcast knows this already. But it became obvious for the whole world to see on Thanksgiving when everyone had to watch the Bears because there was no one else on. And we won that game with Andy Dalton because Matt Nagy knows how to work Andy Dalton. And that's why he wanted to start him at the start of the season, because he knows that about himself. He knows how to make an Andy Dalton offense work because he spent the entire offseason building an Andy Dalton offense. Maybe he didn't listen to the pod, but I was screaming for him not to do that for the entire fucking run.
I mean, you had the Bears at 11-2 with Justin Fields starting because we all forecasted.
Yeah. Okay, let's not go down the way who got what prediction.
Oh no,
Mr. fucking Seattle Seahawks, are you high?
Let's get there. But you won on Thanksgiving because you played the Lions,
right? Totally. It shouldn't count. It shouldn't count for like a non-fireable offense. Beating the Lions shouldn't count. I was hoping we'd lose. I was honestly hoping we'd lose because Fields is out. Don't put him back in. Don't be stupid. He's out for the season. It doesn't matter what. Like he's got cracked ribs. Just let him heal up. That was inevitable. And honestly, I'm glad it was a couple of cracked ribs and not something worse because they were just like not doing a good job of protecting him. I think he's clearly got it. He had flashes this season of pure like greatness in his athleticism. Like I think he's top 1% of athletes on the planet of Earth. I think he's fucking lightning quick. I think he has the potential to be very, very smart. But there's the big reason, and I think his deep ball is really good. But I think that the reason why he dropped, and it's there for everyone to see, is that he has to develop pocket presence, which is trick or treat in the NFL. There's guys you can teach that to, and there's guys that you can't teach that to. And I think because of the kind of guy he is, because of his character and everything, I think you can teach that to him. But you need the right people there to teach it to him. The Bears as an organization, I think, are trying to remain the historic and classy franchise that they have always been in for the most part. I know you can tell me Brian Urlacher voted for Donald Trump and all, but like at least he did all that shit after he retired. But
and that's what I was able to say. But I do have a scooper, a scandal, but we don't want to fight on this.
Sure, but I just think that they carry themselves like one of the NFL's oldest and most important organizations. They have the all-time most wins in the NFL. I don't know if you knew that. They have more wins than anybody, regular season wins. But the
just because they've been around the longest,
I'm sure that's helpful. But fucking the numbers don't lie. A win's a win. So I know they had to play like the 1939 General Lee's.
I don't know how many wins they've had after 1980. That counts. If they still lead the league and win,
probably they aren't at the top of the list. But yeah, whatever, man. I'm taking the fucking dubs when I can. To my overall point, I think that they're a classy organization. You know, they're family owned. The guy who basically like put them on the map and made them who they are. George Halas, his daughter is the one who like runs the whole fucking thing now, and she's $1 billion. And I just think that she runs it in an old school way. And she's like, we're not going to fire the coach midseason. It's gauche. It's tacky. It's stupid. Like, let's just let him see it out. We gave him a job and we're going to let him see out the job, and we're fucked now anyway. So who gives a shit? I mean, I'm not of that mind, but I think that's how they're approaching it. And it's been very frustrating for me to watch Matt Nagy. If him and Ryan Pace still have jobs come like week 1 of the offseason, like I don't even know. Like I don't even know what they're putting in that lady's insure at this point, because like it's crazy to me. I can see why they haven't fired him if that's the reason. That's on all the blogs and forums. That's what everyone's arguing. So I could see it, but it's just still depressing. What's the scooper scandal? Who did what now? It's like, take a man while he's down.
No, I don't want to do that. So I'll let you have the classy organization of the.
What happened? What am I missing? What happened?
Oh, like the GM of the Bears from like 1999 through 2008 would repeatedly not disclose the league when domestic assault or domestic violence.
Really?
He would. So just type that like you just like search like Bears GM not disclosing.
Dave Wannstedt, you mean?
Was he the GM? The old Miami coach? No.
Yeah, he was the. What are you thinking of?
I don't know, but you'll when you see it, like you can. It like it's not, but like they weren't doing anything else. I would assume that any other GM wasn't.
I didn't hear about this at all. Maybe it's because I'm on all the Bears forums and they're just sweeping it under the rug.
What I will say is,
I want to look up the guy's name because I didn't even get to America until then, because I remember Dick Duran taking over. Yeah, that's what it was. Dick Duran took over. Oh, the GM.
Yeah, not the coach, the GM.
Not the coach. Okay, copy that. GM, front office, Ed McCaskey? No, couldn't have been him. I don't know. I don't even know who this guy is that you're talking about.
Jerry Angelo.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
He was always a little slimy. Yeah, I remember that.
He would purposely not disclose or hide abuse incidents so that his players wouldn't have to sit up. But
that's a bummer.
It's awful.
Whatever. Aaron Hernandez killed the guy. Fuck you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Elijah.
He's like the only person in history to be guilty before he killed himself. Once he killed himself, he's innocent, and now they reinstated the verdict that he's guilty. So imagine.
Why didn't he become innocent? I didn't watch the documentary.
It's like a weird Massachusetts state law, but we're rabbit hole.
If you played for the Patriots, you can't be guilty of murder. Is that the law? Because I would not be fucking surprised.
Josh McDaniels will be the head coach of the Chicago Bears next year, and he will do wonders with Justin Fields.
Dude, no.
He will.
Dude, no.
He will.
I can't watch that fucking slothful offense in Chicago.
I think that's
like, Justin, here's the deal, man. More than 3.5 yards, it's a failure of a play. Okay. We need to just make sure that less than 3.5 yards, it's a failure of a play. I think that's how many yards we get for offensive possession.
it won't be worse than this year. And I think if he does go there, it will far exceed your expectations.
I mean, he already failed as head coach, though.
Yeah, sure. Like, but in reality,
honestly, I'll take anybody at this point. I'll hang out by the bus stop, giving out fucking rimmers just to see if somebody will come and be the fucking head coach of the Chicago Bears. Because at this point, it's fucking bleak. You know, we're not the kind of organization, as much as we haven't been like amazing for the past 20 years. I mean, we did make a Super Bowl, but like we didn't win. Like thereabouts, you know, like middling. It's almost worse to be middling because it's like
it is the worst, yeah.
You know, because it's like then you don't fail enough to go and get like a first overall pick. But I mean, the Steelers have been drafting fucking stud wide receivers out of the 20th for the last fucking 15 years. So I don't understand why we can't. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Point being, we're not the kind of franchise where it's like we're almost beating the Lions. Like, this is very upsetting, you know, especially on like national TV. There's no identity. Like I said this with Bobby the other week. There's just no identity there, and it's like it's obvious for all the world to see. Why does he still have a job though? To answer your initial question, is like I think because they don't like to fire coaches mid-season. For whether it's because they're classy or they're just trying to be classy. That's why. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably go to the bus stop and give out rimmers anyway because it's a fucking fun pastime, and you meet a lot of new and interesting people that way. Moving on.
It's like the perfect segue to the power rankings.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should do the power rankings. Let me pull it up here. I'm gonna do it like how the general public would do it. I'm gonna put it right on my Instagram. I think me and Bobby were talking about how there's less of a controversy in our group chat about the power rankings now because everyone is weird and sucks. So it's like when he makes the power ranking, he makes the power rankings now. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Everyone sucks.
He did miss his chance to have the Cowboys at 1 because there was a week or two there that arguably they were the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to do it because, because he's a Cowboys fan. I have him right here if you want me to.
Yeah. You go ahead because we haven't posted them on the Instagram yet.
Yeah. So, do you want to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10? I didn't want to do this to you.
Go from the worst to the best. Yeah.
Number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals at 7-4.
That's right. We had a little argument about whether it should be them or the Titans today. And I think it's a no-brainer. I agreed with you. We still found a way to argue about it. Even though we were agreeing. Yeah, they looked really good against the Steelers. Like, they fucked the Steelers up. Like, it was bad news bears. And I think a lot of that is that the Steelers are kind of trash. But, because Jesus Christ, like, is watching Ben Roethlisberger not just like, I think he's one of the worst 5 starting quarterbacks.
It's, this is near and dear to my heart, but it's like watching Fat Elvis on stage, dude. Like, it's just like, it's the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's over.
Somebody get him a cheeseburger and politely guide him to the toilet because
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, he knows about as much about being a quarterback in the NFL as he knows about consent these days. Because like it's
allegedly.
He makes good choices. He makes good decisions on the field. He makes good decisions because he's been in the league for like 8 billion years, but he still thinks he has the same arm he had 5 years ago, and he's got a little fucking noodle arm. And my favorite part is he throws little shitty noodle arm passes, and like his receivers are doing everything they can to catch them. And then if they don't, or it inevitably gets picked, he's like, "What, guys? Come on!" It's like, "No, it's still better." It's like, dude. They've needed a new head coach and quarterback tandem in Pittsburgh for like, let's be honest, like at least 5 years.
He's like Peyton without the intelligence,
or at least Peyton knew when it was time.
Yeah. Peyton
was smart enough to go and get that last Super Bowl ring and like get kind of carried by like a dope defense and like just do exactly what he needed to do. That offense is still built like
2004.
Roethlisberger, can play quarterback. He just can't, it's too bad. Like if you put Ben Roethlisberger in New England, say Mac Jones wasn't having a great time of it, and you put him in New England and he did exactly what Bill Belichick told him to do, he'd have a great season. He'd probably have a better season than Mac Jones is having right now because he just knows he makes good choices. If he was just 100% tuned into what a very smart head coach was telling him to do based on what he's able to do physically, he'd be having a great season. But he isn't, so he's not. And if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she isn't. You know what I mean?
Number 9. Number 9. The Los Angeles Rams, 7-4. It's fine.
Overrated, but like 9 is fine. Like overrated in general by the public, but 9 is fine.
8. The Dallas Cowboys at 7-4. It's because of that loss to the Raiders, man. I know that you hate the Raiders. I get it.
Yeah, they should be beating the Raiders. That's why I hate the Raiders. They should be beating the fucking Raiders. The Raiders are not good.
The Ravens at 8-3 at number 7.
Yeah, they're like maybe the worst 8-3 team in the history of the NFL. They're awful.
But like you said earlier, they can be so good, but you can figure them out.
You can figure Lamar out. It turns out, I think.
I mean, 4
interceptions, dude. Like that's fucking JV.
It's bad. Didn't he throw 3 in one quarter?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He just completely like derailed that. Like I lost in fantasy because of it. It hurt. I didn't enjoy it.
At number 6, the Buffalo Bills at 7-4. They're beatable. I mean, the Colts just fucking spanked it.
Colts are better than everyone's thought, though. They're beating it.
Yep. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs at 7-4. They're a scary team.
Yeah, I mean, they could at any point make the season boring again and just be like Kansas City Chiefs again. It's all the same guys. So
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 4 at 8-3.
Makes sense. They're still Tom Brady.
Now here's the really interesting part, and like it's cool, but Bobby has the Cardinals at 3 at 9-2, below the Patriots, who are in the number 2 spot at 8-4. What's the justification there? Because I can't justify that.
Strength of schedule? No, I would put But we put the Cardinals above the Patriots right now for sure.
The Cardinals are winning with Colt McCoy.
Yeah. Yeah. We gave the same rationale to the Titans when they won 2 games after Derrick Henry went down.
That we did. He didn't. He dropped them from like 4th to 8th.
Yeah, we both. We did. Like we were trying to make the same argument. It's like, well, they're still winning, so that should count for
right.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. No, you know what I think it is. I think he predicts that the Patriots are going to finish with a better record than the Cardinals, which could be true.
Maybe. And then number 1, the biggest fraud in the NFL is the Green Bay Packers at 9-3.
Yeah, but how are you not going to put them number 1? Like they have beat all the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they've beaten good teams. Like if you do you think the Rams are good? You said that they were scary. You said the Rams were scary, Mike, earlier in the show. It's on record, and you said you were scared of them. And Aaron Rodgers fucked them up. So, I don't know. I don't want them to be good either, man. Okay, it hurts me too. But maybe they are. They probably will choke in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean they're not good right now and don't deserve it.
But they're just so one-dimensional. And yeah, I think
that one dimension is winning.
I think he's a freak quarterback, really. But I mean, they have lost to New Orleans, Kansas City, and Minnesota. Those aren't great losses.
Kansas City are very good.
Not when they played.
Sure.
Minnesota,
but much like the Patriots, the Packers started off a little sketchy at the start of the season and had to pull it around. And to their credit, they have
the Packers started 7-1.
Yeah, didn't they look like shit week 1? Didn't they look absolutely terrible?
They lost 38-3. Jameis Winston.
And it turns out New Orleans are fucking trash, so which makes a lot of sense, obviously. But that's a bad L. You gotta let them slide on that one because it's like week 1, everything was weird. They've obviously gotten it together. But yeah, I agree. They have very like 15-1 Atlanta Falcons vibes to me. Like it's like once it comes down to it, I wonder if they're gonna, if they can shit or get off the pot. And I think, like you said, Rodgers. He needs people to get out of his way for him to win a Super Bowl in an aggressive way. He needs people shooting themselves in the dick constantly for him to win a Super Bowl. And like that is 100% what happened. That Bears team, that Cutler like fucking basically was like, my foot hurts or whatever. And I'm going to go, I just want to ride the bike and look like I don't give a shit. I blacked out on fucking vodka that night. I nearly broke the television in our house and I was screaming Bears D at like State Farm commercials. Yeah, that wasn't even that good of a Bears team, to be 100% honest with you. And he needed Jay Cutler to be like the biggest pussy on earth for them to even make it to the Super Bowl that year. Like they were trying to give us that game. Like they were really honestly like trying to let us have that game, and they were a much better team than we were that year. Much, much better.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So
Rodgers is immunized against playoff success. That's it. That's it.
Oh man, it was so satisfying though. I have to say, just on a personal level, it went exactly like this. The Packers beat the Bears. Nothing fucking new there. He goes, I still own you. And it gets picked up and everyone's like, oh shit, that hurts. And in the sports world, everybody's like, ooh, that does suck. Aaron Rodgers definitely just put his balls on your head. And then he proceeded to out himself as the stupidest man on earth. So I was like, oh, thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for turning in that fucking tour de force performance of dumb fuckery in literally from the following week up until now, where he's like, oh, maybe nice, and then it's like, well, what's going on? He's like, horse paste, Joe Rogan. I'm like, yes, Knuckle. What a hilarious and amazing. So whether he wins or not, like, I'm surprised the guy can even get on the fucking team bus or like find his way home or like not piss his little pantaloons every time he has to fucking urinate. He's the stupidest fuck I've ever seen in my entire life. He's out there with all these other dumb fucking idiots being like, oh, but the vaccine. It's like, there's like 8 billion people have gotten it, you stupid fuck. Everyone's fine. I'm not glowing arms out of the side of my head like fucking Prince Goro from Mortal Kombat. Don't ask Joe Rogan for medical advice, Aaron, you stupid asshole. You can win as many Super Bowls as you want. I'll always be smarter than you, and so will anyone with more than a 4th grade education, you fucking roof shingle. Thank you, and good night, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, what a hilariously perfect man he is. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you. You still own us? You don't even own the full control of your faculties, you fucking McNugget. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, no, I don't think they're real either.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm glad we can agree. I don't
think I'm going to be able to match that energy again, so we should probably just call it a night on this show.
Yeah, that feels right.
Well, thanks everybody for coming, Mike. Thanks for coming to the show and making very good points about baseball halls of fame. Hall of Fames? Is it like attorneys general? Is there more than one hall? The baseball hall of fame. It's just the one. Making good points about that. I agree with most. I think we've agreed kind of generally tonight about a lot of things, which is always kind of new and novel for us.
Yeah,
it would probably mean the same thing. So that was redundant. But other than that, thanks for coming, everyone. Craig, thanks for producing the show as always. And I really hope Aaron Rodgers gets my message. All right. Have a good night, everybody.